Coming up on today's show, did the Detroit Pistons decline the Lakers' offer for a Jerami Grant trade? Anthony Davis, could he make his return tonight as we record this on Sunday? And could the Lakers look to trade Anthony Davis for a player like Jaylen Brown? All that's on tap on today's Lakers Report. But first, I want you to get into the comment section before we get started and give me your favorite all-time Laker. Historic franchise, bunch of fantastic players. You let me know right now, and let's get the show started. You're watching the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Hope all of Laker Nation is having a fantastic weekend with all of these great NFL games on tap. First on tap on today's show, Jerami Grant rumors. We've talked about this player here on the channel a lot because there has been a lot of reported interest from Los Angeles in on Jerami Grant of the Detroit Pistons. According to Marc Stein on his Substack, Lakers have made an offer for Grant, who's a really good two-way player, and that reported package included a 2027 first-round pick, Talen, Horton-Tucker, and Kendrick Nunn, two of the younger and youngest players on this Lakers roster. Now, Grant, arguably one of the better players available going into February 10th's NBA trade deadline, and because the Lakers are at where they're at right now at this point in the season, hovering around 500, they certainly need to make upgrades to that roster. But this, folks, is the predicament that the Los Angeles Lakers are in. They have a flawed roster. They have struggled up to this point in the year, but they don't have the necessary draft assets or the player assets to make a trade for a high-end player without giving away some of the significant pieces already on their roster. You take a look at what Jerami Grant has done throughout his career and the development that has taken place. First 6 seasons, he was really solid. Two-way player, very athletic, got it done on both ends of the floor. 9 points per game, 4 rebounds per, around assists per night, and the key thing here, field goal attempts. Now, at the back half of his stint with the Denver Nuggets, that's when he really started to find his groove. That's when he really started to develop, and that then led to him in NBA free agency a couple of summers ago getting a hefty contract, short-term deal, albeit, from the Detroit Pistons. And the money has certainly been worth it from the Detroit side, and Jerami Grant bet on himself, and he's certainly really developed into a very, very nice player, and that's why he's one of the most highly touted trade assets going into the deadline. Stats with Detroit, last 2 years, 78 games played, 22 points per game, but you take a gander low at the field goal attempts, and I just don't think that Grant would get 17 field goal attempts with the Lakers. One, they have players on the roster who will take field goal attempts away from him, but two, I don't think he'd really need to. Is that a bad thing? No, because you still have a pretty solid roster with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook at times, although his struggles this year well documented. But Grant is a player who could really help this team offensively, defensively, gives you some much-needed athleticism as well as youth. That's why the Lakers, in my opinion, are in on the two-way player. Now, this was the reported trade offer that Detroit turned down. So if the Lakers are still interested in JG, they're going to have to up this offer a little bit. Pistons would get Talen, Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and that first-round pick. Lakers would simply just get one player back. That is Jerami Grant. Now, the Pistons wouldn't do this trade and won't do this trade, at least up to this point. Maybe they're trying to get some leverage here. What would you do, Laker Nation? You let me know. Would you do this trade? Get into the comment section once more. Type Y for yes, type N for no. That's the pinned comment on today's YouTube video. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, just scroll on down and get your votes in. As for Anthony Davis, we'll get to those trade rumors coming up here in just a few moments. But first, is Davis going to come back on Sunday night against the Miami Heat? Upgraded to questionable. He's going to be a game-time decision. As I talked about, we're recording this about 2:30 Central Time on Sunday in the lead-up to this matchup. If he doesn't appear for the Lakers in this game against the Heat, he at least is going to come back soon. That part is imminent. That part is inevitable. He's missed the last 16 with that MCL sprain, and during that span, the Lakers have certainly missed him, going 7-9 during that stretch. Now, when Anthony Davis comes back, if he comes back, when trade rumors surface, when we bring you the latest Lakers news and rumors, stay in the know by subscribing to the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. The road to 50,000 subscribers is on. We're a little less than 10,000 away. So if you want nonstop Lakers coverage that's entertaining and informative, make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below, or in a separate browser, go to youtube.com/LakersTV. Now, speaking of Anthony Davis, he was not himself before the injury, and that was also well documented, right? I mean, coming off that injury last year in the first-round series to the Phoenix Suns, he was really dominant when he was on the floor. But then to start this year, he added some weight because the Lakers expected and wanted him to play more 5, and I think that led to him struggling just a bit. Now, the raw numbers for Anthony Davis, very, very good. But, hey, when you're a great player, you get criticized even when you're averaging 23 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, and you shoot 52% from the floor. He was shooting well under 30% from distance, and he wasn't the same AD that we have seen AD being accustomed to or us becoming accustomed to. That's why the criticism has been heaped upon Anthony Davis, because everybody realizes he's a unicorn, he's built different, and he's a much better player than 23 points per game. That's why guys like Charles Barkley were shredding him, because he wasn't living up to the expectations of being a capable top 5 player in the NBA. That's what comes along the path when you are that highly regarded in the NBA. Now, the Lakers' other big men. Look, are they going to make a trade? They have some players on the roster. I don't think it's the biggest need, although a trade for Myles Turner would certainly appeal me. Once again, what would you give up? But I think the bigger need, a guy like Jerami Grant, athletic, young, can get it done on both ends, and Anthony Davis will then add to the equation here with the other big men in LeBron James, as well as Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan to help fortify that front court. If you're excited for Anthony Davis to come back, let's hope he comes back, he stays healthy, no more soft tissue stuff, and he plays better than he did to start the year. Type AD in the comment section and sound off down below. Now, today's presenting sponsor of the Lakers Report by Chat Sports is our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Sports gambling has become very, very popular all across the nation, but here's the deal. No matter where you live, this deal applies for you. Head to chatsports.com/Lakers, enter the promo code Lakers125. Let's say you put in $100 by using that link in that promo code, you get an additional $125 back. Betting odds for Sunday night's matchup against the Miami Heat, two of the more iconic brands in the NBA. Over-under set at 216, and these NBA spreads are always tricky, and that's why I don't gamble on basketball all the time, because, you don't have a great feel for what's going to happen night in, night out. The Heat are 2.5-point favorites. One more time, head to chatsports.com/Lakers, enter the promo code Lakers125. Lastly on the docket for today's show, an interesting trade idea, an interesting trade rumor. How about Anthony Davis to the Boston Celtics for a player like, I don't know, let's say Jaylen Brown? Here's the Bleacher Report trade idea that we are cooking up and breaking down on today's show. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Aaron Nesmith, 2023 second-round pick via Portland, all going to Los Angeles. The Celtics would then get Anthony Davis, Talen, Horton-Tucker, Kent Bazemore, a 2027 first-round pick, which is top 3 protected. Now, I just got done complimenting Anthony Davis. Last year, I had floated around with the possibility and the idea of trading him for a player like Damian Lillard, because I think he'd be a good fit next to LeBron and help you win a championship this year, and up to that point, he was more available than a player like Anthony Davis. Of course, now, Damian Lillard could be out for the rest of the year with that abdominal injury, but this is the thing about that trade. It's hard to kind of turn down to a certain degree for a fraction of the fan base because of this reason. The player that you're getting back, the headliner in the deal, it is Jaylen Brown. Now, I might be more high on Jaylen Brown than anybody else, but that's because I've seen the development take place for this guy to really become an elite player and is one of the best two-way players in the game. His development since coming out of Cal has been tremendous. He was always looked at as a springy athlete who had defensive upside but was so raw on the offensive end of the floor. But take a look at what he's done the last 2 years. Raw no more, fine-tuned, developed, and a dangerous offensive player who now has a handle, can keep the ball on a string, can get to his shot no matter where he's at on the floor, and can shoot it from all 3 levels. For this guy, last 2 years, to be averaging about 24, 25 points per game is crazy. He's gotten into the lab, and because of that, he's really improved. Last year, he shot almost 40% from 3, and this year, 36%, 48 and 45 from the field overall. Those are very good numbers considering the volume there. So we take a look at this trade one more time. I don't know. Would you do it? You let me know. JB, Marcus Smart, Aaron Nesmith coming to Los Angeles. Outgoing Anthony Davis, THT, Kent Bazemore, and a first-round pick. let me know. One more time, type T for trade, type P for pass. I don't want to split up the fan base. I just want you to chime in and let your thoughts be known in the comment section. And if a trade does happen, we have you covered right here on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jay Sr., trying to get to 50,000 subs. We're less than 10,000 away, and I think a big reason we've been able to grow so much, people like our coverage because it's entertaining, different, and unique. So hit that red subscribe button down below, and thanks for watching today's show.